Hello there, my friends. Well, today what I'm working on is a Jaguar dash with a dreaded Shrunk leather cover. So I had the customer bring in the dash for me. I didn't take it out of the car because I don't do that. I don't mess around with wires and computers and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, he brought it in to me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate here how to make new patterns for a new cover without all the shrinkage. So here we go. Now for technique number 3258, the shrinkage. Okay, so what I did is I'll just take a straight edge like this. I'll follow where it is straight between here and here, and then you can kind of see where it goes south. We'll say south. So this here is supposed to be a straight line, but you can see it shrunk about a good 1.5 inches on this leading edge of the dash right here. So what I did is I marked some kind of a something I can identify anyway, that at this point is where this pattern right here has to have a straight line instead of this shrinkage. And now for technique number 758, what I do when I go to take the patterns apart, I'll just take my trusty box cutter or whatever with the break off blades, or you can use the one with a, whatever it is, any kind of a sharp edge. What I do is, you can see it looks kind of ugly because I've been using it like this for a long time. What I do is I take a grinder and I grind off and serrate the edges all the way around. What this does is it pops the threads without cutting the material. So now on for our technique. What I do is I take everything apart and I leave corners connected. And the reason I don't take it apart all the way entirely is that way, you know how it goes back together again. No guessing, no errors, no time wasted. So we don't need to be wasting time putting the jigsaw puzzle back together again. Same thing with the rest of the pattern. You can see here, it makes a nice little mobile, I guess, if you want to hang it up. But anyway, leave it connected. We know how it goes back together. So now it's time to make patterns. So I'm going to continue making these patterns here. I'm not going to bore you guys with all of that. I'll just get it done and come back. So I'm going to continue doing what we were doing earlier. Take this next panel. Okay, so this is the speaker area and it shrunk up terribly too. So being that there's nothing important in this area, I'm just going to leave that long and trim it later. After I install it is probably when I'm going to be doing the trimming. So what does matter right now is the rest of the pattern here. I did notice a little bit of shrinkage on this side, so I'm going to leave it a little long. You can see I marked it by the arrows here where it needs to be extended. That's just a little reminder. Once again, take your straight edge. Continue the line. Now we've restored our pattern. I think that this will be a good place here to start. So I'm going to take this panel right here and we're going to restore its shape. You can see right here, there's shrinkage right here, there's shrinkage right here. So what I'm going to do is take my trusty China marker and I'm going to mark the pattern up to the point where it starts to shrink. Okay, this leading edge I'm going to leave extra long because it also shrank. So now I know really that this is what's straight. And I'll just continue that line down there. Same thing with this one. Putting the pattern back to where we were before. And you can clearly see what's happened here. So we're gonna right the wrong. I got the patterns all drawn out, all trimmed out, all foamed up, and all sewn up. And did I say trimmed out? I guess I did. Anyway, there they are. So the next technique is technique number 47. It's a low number because it's one of the most important. Is what I do is when I glue the piece of vinyl onto the foam like that, what I do is I let this dry overnight, because when the glue is still wet and you go to sew this thing together and you're manipulating it underneath the sewing machine, you're folding it and you're moving it, and what's going to happen is, because the glue is still wet, you're going to end up with creases, and you're going to end up with folds. You're going to end up with fingerprint impressions. So we're not going to do any of that. So that's the reason for letting this dry overnight. I'll be back in the morning. Besides, it's like really hot in here now, humid in Houston in the summer. Anyway, I'll be back in the morning to sew this up.
Ra game next line nó sẽ đây cái zo ga ho ni đi cái nó bị là nhiều ini được ba là nghe nó biết sai ya lấy bom lên sang cái game nó he's sick